All right, so you're making a move to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and you're asking yourself, can I actually even find lake life near Ann Arbor? Like, is this even possible, or am I crazy? Okay. Somebody comes to me and they say, hey, we love the area, Ann Arbor, but we've always wanted to be on a lake. And then they say the one thing that tells me they've been doing the research on the wrong map. They say something like, we figured we'd have to drive up north on the weekends, maybe get a cottage eventually and just head up there. And I have to stop them right there, because what they don't know is that there's a whole corridor of sports lakes, year-round communities, and actual lakefront homes sitting right here between Ann Arbor and Brighton. It's only 30 minutes from downtown Ann Arbor, okay? 30 minutes, you guys. Most people will drive 45 minutes to an hour into the city just for work. So today I'm walking you through exactly where these lakes are, what makes each of them different, and the thing you absolutely need to understand before you ever make an offer on a lake property in this area, because there's a detail that catches every single buyer off guard every single time. Okay, if you're not from the area, you're out of state, I'd rather you hear from me now than making this mistake on your own. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Meldrum, and my team and I help people just like you guys make that move here to Ann Arbor and all the orbit cities like Brighton, Saline, Dexter, Pinckney. You've got a lot of smaller town cities, you got some urban feels, and you got some lake communities, so we cover all of it. So whether you're moving in 1 month or 1 year from now, definitely reach out so we can help you guys too. All right, so let's start with the geography and where we're gonna be looking today, because when people say lakes near Ann Arbor, depending on which direction you go, you're almost guaranteed to run into a lake somewhere. Okay, this is Michigan, you guys, we're talking about. There's lakes everywhere, but today we're focusing on the north side between Ann Arbor and Brighton. So there's a number of options you have in this area for lake communities, but the first option for a good all sports lake is Whitmore Lake. Okay, this sits around 9 miles north of Ann Arbor, quick drive into the city. It's right off of US 23, so getting on and off the highway is pretty easy. It's an all sports lake. It's right around 667 acres and almost 70 feet deep at the deepest point. Okay, this lake is perfect for jet skis, tubing, fishing, you name it. Okay, there's people out there pretty much all summer long, doing all those things. It's actually split into two different counties. Okay, on the north half you have Livingston County, and on the south half you have Washtenaw County. And the only reason this really matters, it's all Whitmore School District, so you don't have a different school district on any side of the lake, but you do have different property taxes. Some of your property taxes are going to go to Livingston, or if you're on the south side, some of your property taxes are going to go to Washtenaw County. Now, Whitmore Lake is not a huge city. It has a small downtown. It's basically a strip on the south side of the water. It's kind of on the edge near 23. You got places like Captain Joe's. You got a market over there for groceries. You got a bowling alley. It's not fancy, and quite frankly, that's fine. It's everything you would expect from a lake community, because you're 10 minutes from Ann Arbor and 10 minutes north to Brighton. So you got both of those downtowns to choose from. So the second option that you have is the Portage chain of lakes. And this is by far one of the most popular options if you do want to be close to Ann Arbor and you want a more expansive chain of lakes. Whitmore Lake is good, but it's just one lake. Portage chain of lakes is 9 lakes connected by the Huron River. You got the Big Portage, Baseline, Azuki, Strawberry, Gallagher, Whitewood, and there's a few others in there, but these all really span between the Huron River. Okay, so the Huron River that runs right through Ann Arbor actually comes down through the Portage chain of lakes and then into Ann Arbor. So this also covers Livingston and Washtenaw County. Okay, the Portage chain of lakes kind of split right in between the two of them, and it's kind of on the same plane as Whitmore Lake as well. And here's the thing that people don't understand until they're actually out on the water. All of these lakes are connected by the Huron River, but you can actually get from lake to lake on your boat. Okay, so you can take a boat ride from the northern point of Azuki Lake and then cruise down to the most southern point in the Portage Lake area, and the round trip through the lakes covers about 13 miles of water. I've got a lot of friends on the Portage chain of lakes, and this is by far, anybody who's from the area knows, this is one of the coolest things about the Portage chain of lakes is driving through all the different lakes and taking the cruise down. It's a hike, so I wouldn't recommend doing it every weekend. Some people do it more often, but if you get a chance, definitely make sure you put that on your bucket list, because the views are awesome. Just exploring the different lakes, you're gonna run into people that are doing the same thing, so you can kind of raft off, tie off. You just experience how each lake kind of lives a little bit different, but depending on which lake you're on, you might only go on your lake on a regular basis, but you have the option, right? Going and exploring all these different lakes is something that everybody who is on the Portage chain of lakes absolutely loves. So in terms of the biggest lake, you're looking at Big Portage, which is 644 acres. It's really the anchor of the whole entire system and chain of lakes. Baseline is home to the University of Michigan for their sailing club, and then you got Zuki Lake Tavern, which is on Zuki Lake, which has been there forever. I think it was even there like around the end of the Prohibition era as a trading post, so it's still in operation today. They've just changed ownership and changed it into a local tavern. People pull up on their boats. You can grab pizza, cold drinks. They got a rooftop bar. This is the hangout in the summer. Okay, so here's the part I promised you, and the thing that catches a lot of people off guard. This one you need to pay special attention to, and I'm going to be direct with you because I really see people out there who make really expensive mistakes thinking they're getting a lake house and they're really not. So when you start searching for homes online, you start plugging in all of your search criteria and you want lake frontage, but a lot of these online portals will, and frankly the MLSs will say this is lake access. Okay, there's a big difference between lake frontage and lake access. You could have two listings at very different price points, look very similar, and one of them has lake access and the other one has lake frontage. So here's why. There are two completely different things being sold under the label lake home. The first is your private lake frontage. Okay, your lot touches the water. You own the water's edge or the water rights in front of your home. Your dock is yours. Okay, you walk out your back door and you're there, right? You got your whole entire lawn and your lake there. You're enjoying it. Okay, the second option that comes up quite often for lake access or lake homes is the option for deeded access. Okay, so this may be a neighborhood that has a shared park or a shared launch point or a shared dock, and you can use that. So you can use the lake, you can have everything that lake owners have as well. You just don't have frontage. Okay, you don't live on the lake. Okay, there's a difference between having access to a lake and stepping out your back door than living in a lake community and just having a dock where you park your boat. And quite frankly, the price difference between these two things is significant, and the lifestyle difference is even bigger. And thankfully, we've never had anybody actually make this mistake when buying a home. I wonder if that's true. Like, I wonder if anybody's actually bought a home remote without actually going and seeing it, thinking they're getting lake frontage, and they only get lake access. Is that a thing? Yeah, I wouldn't let that happen. Okay, I'm telling you guys right now, that will not happen with our team. But I do have this conversation often when people are online looking at homes, like, well, we see so many homes in this lake community, it's lake access, but this home's like 200,000 and this home's like $1 million, right? It's why is that the difference? So we have to explain, like, this one's deeded access. Oh, I saw the dock in that picture, so I just assumed that it was lake frontage. So before you ever put an offer in a lake property in this area, you guys check the deeded restrictions, confirm the shoreline rights, look at the seawall condition. Like, we've got you dialed in on this, what you're actually buying. So don't worry about that. But on the flip side, maybe that's what you're going for. Maybe lake access is exactly what you want. You want something a little bit smaller. You want something maybe on the lower end, but you have access to a lake. So that does exist if that's what you're looking for. And something else you need to know, when you move into this lake corridor, Whitmore Lake or the Portage chain of lakes, you're likely moving into a different school district. Okay, you got Dexter, Pinckney, Whitmore Lake schools, sometimes Brighton if you're on the northern end. These are all good schools, but if you're hoping for Ann Arbor public schools, the geography probably just doesn't work for you. And this goes without saying, but lake life is not the same as the city life. If you're moving to Ann Arbor for the city life, like, that's one thing. If you're moving here for lake life, that's a completely different thing. The nearest Zingerman's is still going to be about 30 minutes away. You have to drive a little bit further for your groceries in a way that, you might not expect, in the lake communities. But for the people that I work with that are actually looking for the lake life, a lot of this is par for the course and to be expected. Most people want a slower pace of life and for it to feel like a lake community, not the city. So if you're already making a move and you want to get started with finding the right location, this is what we do every single day. Okay, reach out. Contact information is down below in the description, and we've got you covered. And I actually put together a resource where you can see what's on the market in these lake communities. It's going to cover active listings, what homes are selling for on private frontage versus, what the access is going to get you. So you have a full picture of what lake life in Whitmore Lake and the Portage chain of lakes is really like. And if you're still early in your move, trying to figure this all out, you're researching Ann Arbor, some of the orbit cities. You guys, I've got a playlist on the channel, Ann Arbor, some of the orbit cities, Brighton, Dexter, Saline, pretty much you name it. Okay, start there, and I will see you on the next one.